Hello, everybody. And how are we today? Hi, Selena Wade. Just sit back and relax. I'm a couple of minutes early, but my phone kept shutting off. So, that glare is annoying. Whoa. Okay, that's going to be even more annoying. There we go. You were popping up right in the middle of my video. Oh, yeah, that's because I haven't shut off my air conditioner or my fan. We can take care of that. I knew I was going to forget something. Hey, but notice I got the thumbnail thing down. Finally. Is that better, Zelina? Yeah, I watched that earlier. All right, good. Now, as long as it doesn't get too hot in here, we'll keep it that way. But I am a comfort-loving person. So did you get all the dirt moved? Yep, I figured that. Strategically placed coffee cup. Oh, yay. Did you get it all moved out of the way now? Okay. I like to be able to read what I write and not question it when I come back later. Yeah, that's true. If you'll have to drive over it and over it until it flattens out. Okay, well, I turned off the air conditioner and the fan. I'm going to turn the fan back on low. I think that's low. No, that's high. Nope, that is low. Get back in my seat. Can you hear it? Sound like an aquarium again, or is that okay? Oh, I think I did. I don't know. Can't do it now. The phone's kind of busy and I don't want to mess anything up. Hello, Diane. know how they can tell. Oh, there we go. 3 people watching. And how is Diane? Can you guys hear the fan, or is this okay? I can do without the AC, but I'd prefer to have some air moving around. Okay, good to go. All right, I have no idea how many people are going to show up right now. It says 5. No, the AC is a lot louder than the fan. Hi, Tie-Dye, how are you? I will be featuring one of your gifts in a little bit. Well, I'm happy you caught me live too. It's much better than catching me dead. I was going to put a banner up saying the rated G for grandkids, but when I clicked on chat, it asked me to sign into my chat. I have no idea how to do that, so I've probably got it written down in my special secret book, but I ain't got time to go look for it. Okay, well, probably not, but it's not seriously difficult, Diane. Bookkeeping is just one of those things you gotta do. Unless you don't care. I mean, me personally, I want to know how far in the hole I am. And hopefully, when I get out of the hole, I'll know. But I also know that it's a lot easier to do taxes at the end of the year if you've got everything in a neat and orderly fashion. I've seen too many people go, well, here's all my receipts, and they're in shoe boxes. Not in any kind of order, just thrown in there. Well, I'm sure he doesn't, but I'll bet you when he does taxes, yes, I'm going to explain why I do that too, Tie-Dye. So why don't we get started? There's 7 people here. Like I said, I have no idea who's coming. For those of you who know, Carly Stone asked for this specifically. She's working. Don't know if she'll be able to show up or not. We're going to go until we're done talking. I don't know how long that'll be, but it'll be no more than 2 hours. Because I got to take my grandbabies to the carnival. All right. How I run my business. First order of business is paperwork. Lots and lots of paperwork. And I know that you can go on your computer and do all this stuff, but you have to know how to do it. And I don't know how to do it, and I don't want to take the time to learn how to do it. That's one reason. Number 2 is I can write this down anywhere I want to go. I can find it easier, don't have to have my laptop. It's on paper. Number 2, this can't be hacked. Somebody's actually got to come into my house and steal it for whatever reason they might want it for, but my business finances cannot be hacked into from an outside source. And number 3, you can pick up these little pads of ledger papers for I don't even know how much they cost. A couple of bucks, maybe $3 at Walmart. I'm sure Target and a bunch of other places have them too, but they're easy to find. They're cheap. And before we get too much farther into this, let's talk about actually starting your business. You need to check with your local laws. You can do that on Google. You can call the circuit clerk's office for your town, city, county. My town said they had no special laws, that I needed to go to the county, so I had to go to the county. I'm in Illinois. I am doing, first thing you have to do is decide what kind of business you want, because there's, LLCs and corporations and S corps and all these. I do sole proprietor. It's easy to say. I am a sole proprietor. I have a sole proprietorship. Basically what that means is at the end of the year, at tax time, I just take all my stuff in and it goes into my regular taxes. Anything I make, anything I lose goes onto my regular tax form on a Schedule C. But once you figure out what kind of business you want, what type of business you want, and I mean like LLC or whatever, you need to check your local laws and find out whether or not you need to file as a business to do what you want to do. And my daughter says that I could go and do craft shows where she lives without any kind of business license whatsoever, just go and set up and do it. Here in Illinois, government wants to know, do I think the government has the resources or interest in hassling small businesses? Oh yeah, I know for a fact that a couple of the big giant vendor shows in Chicago have got our sales tax revenue officer strolling around asking to see paperwork. So yeah, the government has the resources to hassle anybody that they want to hassle. You know that. All you have to do is get on their radar, because they sure don't spend their resources hassling the big guys. Enough politics. Okay, so I had to go to the courthouse, to the circuit clerk's office, and fill out a DBA, which is doing business as form, and I had to take it to my local newspaper and run an ad for 3 weeks. That was $50 or so. When I was done, after the 3 weeks, the newspaper gave me a little piece of paper. I took that back to the circuit clerk's office, and they charged me $25, and they issued me a business certificate. After that, I had to get a hold of the State Revenue Service and apply to get authorization to collect sales taxes. That was free. That was easy. I had an email with a copy of my certificate in like a week, and I was ready to sell. So check your local laws, because I'm by no means an expert. I Googled everything and then went and asked questions. So once you have your business, even before you have your business going, paperwork is important, because I started my business the weekend before Thanksgiving is when I launched my business. I don't remember. I think it was October that I actually did all the paperwork and got everything set up so that I could start my business. But I started buying stuff for my business before I had a business. And all of that stuff counts. Like all the way back here, 2/31/21. I bought some leather. That went into my costs for the year. when I went and did my taxes. My ledger tells me everything. I put everything in here. Here's purchases. You can see the P's. Down here is an I. That was my first income. And I put this one is my main one. This one has everything. Everything I buy, everything I sell, everything goes into this ledger. See the little tabs over here? You also have to split them up, making taxes easier. Hi, Sharon. Making your taxes easier because you get tax breaks for equipment and tools, which is this one. And then you get costs reimbursed for supplies once you sell your product, except for office supplies. Then, of course, there's sales tax, so I know how much to pay. You get reimbursed for shipping. And then I've got a list of all my invoices. That's my shipping. There's my invoices. Oh, I didn't flip it back around after I did. Well, I got a show tomorrow, so I'll just leave it that way. All of these things, I also have, couldn't see that one because of the paper. Also have my craft show fees listed down, how much I spent. Those are also tax deductible. And over here, you can't see it, miscellaneous and gifts. You're allowed to give up to a certain amount to gifts of $20 or $25 that you can write off as a gift. They'll call it promotion, advertising, and promoting. Mileage to get supplies, etc., is also reportable in Illinois. But you have to know, I tried that, but apparently you have to write down the mileage of your car at the beginning of the year, and then write down all of the mileage you did for your work or for your business as you do it. And then at the end of the year, you have to write down your final mileage, and they do all this math, and I did not have that written down, so I was unable to get my mileage. But yes, mileage to go and get supplies, mileage to go to your craft shows, any mileage that you do specifically for your business can be tax deductible. This year I'm not going to do it, but next year you can also, if you have a room, and I just got this room in July, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. Yes, every little bit definitely helps. But I didn't realize I had to write down my mileage at the beginning of the year, therefore I did not. And I didn't write down the mileage at the beginning of the year this year because I didn't do my taxes until March. So I had already missed that boat too. So next year, I'll be writing that down and get that done. And next year I'll be measuring, because also I just got my very own craft room. If you've seen some of the videos, I got that in July. I'll be measuring the house and measuring the room, because if you have a space in your house dedicated to your work, your business, then that is also tax write-off. So all of these little bits help, because running a business is not cheap. There are expenses. So my ledger, like I said, I write everything down, and then I go and put it in their own special category with my equipment and tools and all of my supplies. Everything gets written down, when, where, and everything, and I keep all of my receipts, because you might or might not need them. Nobody's asked for them yet, but I have them if they do. Now, I do use my computer for, use that as a backdrop, there we go. I do use my computer for inventory. About 80, keep moving that, and there's a reason it's there. 85 to 90%. If you drop a stone, it breaks. Not every time. And I have carpet in my room, so it bounces. So I do keep my inventory on my computer. I use Microsoft Word documents, and I'll show you those in just a second. I get about 85% of my, oh, is that a loss? I suppose it could be if you wanted to write it off. I don't know that, I mean, you know, well, I don't know. Some of the stones are pretty expensive. But I don't know if accidental breakage would be a write-off or not. Talk to your tax preparer. I'm not an expert on taxes either. I'm not an expert on anything except truck driving, really. And I'm not really an expert on that either. There's a whole lot I don't know. I'm still learning after 23 years of driving. Anyway, yes, 85% or so I get from Matt's Crazy Art. He also does tutorials. I'm nowhere near an expert on the banjo. I can barely play that thing. Well, I try to be organized, that's for sure. That I might be an expert on. You should have seen my desk when I got here today, those stones everywhere. But I straightened it all up today. But Matt's Crazy Art is where I get a lot of my stones, most of my stones. And when I get a group of stones from Matt, here is a copy of my inventory on my computer. I number my sets. I write what it is. I take the amount that I paid, count how many stones there were, and I come up with how much each stone is. And this over here is for profit. As you can see, no profit on this one yet. But each stone, each set of stones gets a number. Each stone gets a letter. Beads, I count as one stone. I struggled with that for a little while. I started out, maybe all the beads, we'll just write them off as free. And then I'm like, well, they're actually part of the set and they are something that's a cost. So I decided the easiest thing to do was the beads are a stone. So in this case, these 22 beads cost me $3.99. Now, when I go to making something out of, like I did with this one, I write what I wrote out of it. I made earrings. That is what I'm going to charge. This is what I'm going to get paid. That's why there's an asterisk there, because I don't know yet. This is what it cost me to put them together, and this will be my profit, and then I'll move that up to there. And I have this little percentage sign on here because I have used everything in here except a few beads, looks like. But I have made enough to pay it off. So I move on to a different one. Nothing has sold in either one of these two. So we go back away so we can see what I do when I do sell something. So here, I had charged $19. I got paid $19. That's what it cost me to make this pendant. And that was my profit. And my profit moved up here. And as you can see, I got profit there as well. Now, I have these asterisks over here because I sold 19 and 13, which makes $32. So I have technically paid this set off because it cost me $31.88. Once this goes over, once I sell this, this should go over the 31, maybe. It'll be close. But anyway, once it goes over the 31.88, I come over here and I put what they call a hashtag now, but what we know as a pound sign, to show me that that set has been completely paid off with the profit that I made. So I not only basically, I put the hashtag over there when I've doubled my money, gotten my money back, and got my profit. Oh, we'll talk about how to price stuff in a few minutes. How much have I paid for a stone? It depends on what stone. I've paid anything from nothing to $36, I think, is the highest I've paid for a stone. So that shows all my costs, my profit, my inventory. Now we're going to cover pricing tie-dye. We'd absolutely add labor. But this was the record keeping part. Now when you go to make something, there's several different ways to do pricing. This is the way I do it because I find it easier to do. These were a lovely gift from Tie-Dye Dawn. Ooh, glittery. There we go. Nice pair of lightning bolt earrings, kiwi jasper. We'll use that as an example. So let's say I make earrings out of these. And I just said I got them for free. Yes, I have a black agate stone. The $36 one was the dinosaur bone, Diane, which I sold for $65. But anyway, I bought a dinosaur bone that Vincent cut and polished. I think it was $35. I don't know. I'd have to look in my records, but it's pretty close. So I've got my stones here. Let's say the cost of my stones, like I said, they were free, but we'll say they were, I don't even remember what everybody was paying for them, but we'll say they were $6. They were $6. Now, if I don't do anything to them and I just throw them, sorry, waving my hand around. I don't know if this is distracting to you. It's freaking my eyeballs out. Anyway, I'm going to make earrings out of them. Let's say I don't do anything to them. I just put them on earring hooks. I charge $1 for my earring hooks. So now we're at $7. I immediately double that. And it took me ×2, and it took me 10 minutes. I charged $20 an hour, so 10, that'd be 6. Let's do it the easy way and say it was 15 minutes, and that means I charged $5. So I'm up to $19. That is my minimum that I want to sell it for. I have my red over here. Anything below 19, and I'm not making a profit. I'm gonna charge 22 for them. Anything 22, and I don't know why there would be anything above that, but 22 is at my green mark. Anything in the yellow, and I know it's not really yellow, but I don't have a yellow, so it's orange. Because sometimes I do discounts, and you can too. It's up to you, totally. But anyway, 19 is my target. Anything under that, and I'm losing money. 22 is my price, but if I decide I want to give it to somebody for 20, I'm still in the yellow. I'm still making money, not as much, but a little bit. We'll talk about discounting a little bit later. Now, in between there, my step number 4 is comparison. I will jump on Etsy. Well, actually, I jump on Google. I will jump on Google and hit shopping. Look for kiwi jasper lightning bolt earrings, whatever you're selling. Hey, Trish, how are you? Trish! Whatever you're selling, most chances there's going to be stuff for sale just like it somewhere on Google or in Etsy, which is Etsy is usually where I end up going. And I look, what are they selling it for on Etsy? And when you're looking at Etsy pricing, you have to remember to look at their shipping. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it's some crazy amount. I'll sell you this for $9, but I'll charge you $14 for shipping. Okay, well, then that thing costs $25, doesn't it? So I compare my prices. If everybody's selling, because somebody's going to be selling these things for $4 and somebody might be selling them for $30. You just got to kind of figure out a kind of average and hope that the average hits somewhere in your yellow. You also have to know your area. All except for one of the craft shows I've done in the last 2 summers have been in small towns in the middle of Illinois, farming communities. So mostly my customers are farmers, small businesses, and retired folks. Some of them are willing to spend, some of them are not. But so you have to remember, when you're actually making, it's okay to have a $25 pair of earrings. I think I have a pair on my rack right now for my show tomorrow. But you might want to run your pricing in a direction that your area goes. If everybody's willing to pay $20 for a pair of earrings, awesome. Charge that or more. In my area, that's not feasible. So some of my earrings are down as low as $10, $11. But you gotta watch out for this number, because you don't want to take this example and go, oh, well, nobody's gonna pay $22 for it, so I'm not charging $22 for it. I'll only charge $19. That's fine if you want to do that. It gives you very little profit. You're going to get your labor as profit, and of course the extra $7 here. So I mean, there's a little bit of profit there, but not much. But if you say, well, nobody's going to pay $19 for them, I'm going to charge $15, well, then you're losing money. And as much as I love selling my stuff, as much as I love having people appreciate my stuff, as much as I love making my stuff, I'm not interested in making a killing, but I'm not interested in losing money either. Now, as far as discounting goes, sometimes, usually if it's a teenager or if it's somebody I can kind of tell, if my impression is that they can't really afford, they're not, they're precious with their money because they don't have a lot of it, I will sometimes discount people. I discount kids more than I discount anybody else. If I've got she was probably 16 or 17, and she was looking at, what was she looking at? A moon. She was looking at an amethyst moon that I knew that I had paid like $3 for, and I had it priced at $25. And she was really looking at it. She picked it up, she held it, she put it down, she walked off, she came back. The third time I said, I see you're looking at that really close. I said, what's stopping you from buying it? And she's like, I don't have a whole lot of money. And I'm like, well, what's the price? And it was 25 or 27, I don't remember. But I knew that it had only cost me maybe $8 to make it, including my labor. I got a good deal on that moon. So I knew anything over $8 was pure profit. So here was my $8. I had it at 27. I asked her if she'd buy it if I brought it down to 20. She said yes. I still made $16. Made a very, very happy customer, and somebody that might come looking for me the next time I'm in that area. And since I'm in pretty much this area, I think the farthest I've gone is an hour away from home. No, Sharon, I do not have a rock tumbler. I'm not home enough to take care of it. It has to be changed every 6 or 7 days, rinsed off, and the next, it has to be, stuff has to be done to it every 6 or 7 days, and sometimes I'm gone for 14. And I don't have anywhere outside to put it where it won't noisy up the house. Talk about sounding like you're living in an aquarium. How about, a rock grinding thing? So no, I don't have a rock tumbler. I have looked into it though. So I knew that I had, a $12 profit instead of a $19 profit. But I made the girl happy. She got something really nice. And every once in a blue moon, usually it's when somebody says they've got a kid, like she was probably, this is last week, there was a girl that was probably 11 or 12, guesstimation. Well, I'm sure there's a way to explain the differences in the quality of stones, but I wouldn't be able to do that. One of my price differences is that stone came from an auction that I got a really good deal on. Several stones for a low amount came out to the stones costing just $2 or $3 for that stone. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen anymore, but that was why that one was such a good deal, because I got a really good deal at one of the auctions. That's like these. Like I said, these are a gift from tie-dye. You think I'm going to hang on to them because of my love of tie-dye? No. I love her, but I'm going to make these into earrings and sell them and take whatever profit I can get. Sorry, tie-dye. Except I know tie-dye. That's what she wanted me to do with them anyway. But I had a little girl last week came in. I was making free rings. I do not have a ring mandrel handy. Yes, I do. Oh, but I don't have any wire. Yes, I do. But I don't have any cutters. That I don't have. All of my stuff is in the car because I have a show tomorrow. Yeah, Diane, that is correct. But I mean, there's all. I know there's a difference in the quality of stones. Usually, I have to investigate that per stone. I know there's a lettering system, and I know there's probably a numbering system as well. But I am a huge fan of wire wrapping. To me, it's relaxing. It gives me something to do. It calms me in most cases. I do not like being frustrated, so if I can't wrap it right, then I'll lay it down and go on to something else, because I'm in this for relaxation and something to do to keep me busy and off of the boob tube and the telephone. So I am not super into the stones themselves, other than what's pretty. And as time has gone by, I know what kind of sells in my area. So those are my biggest interest in stones, because I myself like the earth tone stones, and I bought a lot of them, but my customers don't particularly appreciate earth tones. Therefore, I stopped buying earth tones, because I don't keep stones around for decoration or anything. I gave some amethyst to my wife, but other than that, I don't buy display pieces, because I want crystals around me. I buy them to make jewelry, and that's my joy that I get out of them, is making jewelry, and then I try and get my money back with a little bit of profit so I can make some more. That is my philosophy in the jewelry making. I'm just trying to pay for my hobby. And that's pretty much all that I do. But I find organization for me is the key to being able to do this. Like I said, I spent an hour and a half this afternoon going through my jewelry and setting up my displays for my show tomorrow. Well, I said habit tie-dye. I didn't want to go that far. Didn't want to go that far. That's what my wife calls it. She called Matt my crack. Because I had way too many stones. Even I'm like, whoa, I've got too many. Oh, we can talk about production. That's something I didn't cover. Because if you're making stuff to sell, you've got to have some kind of production schedule of some sort, some kind of some sort of a plan. Now, I started out, I wanted to, you saw that I had, like, this was MCA 55. I had MCA 1. And I'm like, this is what I'll do. Thank you, Trish. What I'll do is I will make something out of every stone in this set and put it all up for sale. This is at the beginning of my business. This was my first production plan. And I made something out of everything except 3 stones. Those 3 stones, I had 2 little sunstone cabochons. For those of you that know, a cabochon is flat on the back and rounded on the front. Oh. Is Tanja still here, or has Tanja been here? I don't think she has been. Those 2 cabochons were about the size of my thumbnail. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Trish. And they were the first ones where I learned that I do not like frustration, because I couldn't wrap them to save my life, so I would put them down. The other one was just a white cabochon. It wasn't any kind. I didn't even have written down what kind of stone it was. I have no idea. So I left those 3 alone. I finally got them wrapped. I even sold one, I think. Instead of looking at blank paper, let's look at pretties. I got these the other day. Look at that. Amethyst arrowheads. They're smaller than I expected. Too far. Ooh, there we go. That's as good as it's going to get. I'm not super. Yeah, that's what I thought. I saw them on Amazon and I'm like, ooh, amethyst arrowheads. I'll bet you I could sell those. Amethyst is a huge seller in my area. So when I saw those, I got some other arrowheads in the order as well. Hi, Mama Teresa. How are you? Glad to see you too. But those I got on a whim. I don't know because I haven't made one yet. But they cost me $2.20 some cents each. So they're going to be at least, at a minimum, 4, 6, 8, At a minimum, they're going to be 15. I'll probably try and get 20. But that doesn't mean I will. But I'll put them out there for it and see what happens. I also have another outlet. My son does music festivals, EDM music festivals all over the country. He was out in Washington State a couple of 3-4 weeks ago and sold $200 worth of my jewelry out there. So the people at the music festivals sometimes spend a little more than they would around here. So sometimes my prices are different in one venue than they would be in the other. I don't change my prices for any other venue because that's too much work. I have to change everything in the computer. I'd have to change everything on the price tag, so I'd be using twice as many price tags or 3 times as many price tags. Well, thank you, Sharon. That's pretty bold of you to say since I haven't even wrapped one yet. But anyway, back to my production. So I had all the stones wrapped except for those 3. And I couldn't think of what to do with the white one, and I couldn't wrap the other 2, so I moved on to set number 2. And I was trying to wrap everything in there, and I did that for a while. Then I did my first craft show, and I sold a bunch of stuff. And it ended up that I had made $80 profit on set 1. And I'm like, well, I could do that, but I'm already up to set 75. It's taking quite a bit of time to wrap each set because there's several stones. So what I decided, my production plan varied a couple of times, but I finally settled on my production plan is that I have enough here. 31, 41. Yeah, I have made enough in this set. I have made enough that if I sell it all, I will pay it off and get my money back for this set. And when that happens, I will still have these 3 and the beads left over that basically are free now because I've paid for them. So I go through each set. I am up to like 102 now. I just throw the sets in order in my bags. When I take them in my truck or when I'm here at home, I go set by set. I'm at 102. The next one I'm going to look at is 103, and I'm going to wrap 2-3 things out of it until I have enough that I think I can make my money back off of it. And then those go back in the bin, and I move on to set number 104. My goal is to pay for all of the stones that I've bought and still have a mountain of stones left to work on so that I'm not forced to buy any more. And that's my production plan. So you should have some kind of plan in mind and why you're planning that. Just going at it willy-nilly, if you're trying to make a profit, you can do it that way, I guess, but I'm just too organized to allow myself to do that. It's what it boils down to. I can be a little retentive on certain things. There's some more that I bought from Amazon. What sold? Tie-dye, what's sold? I wasn't selling anything. Diane, I'm tempting who to buy. Oh no, Mama Teresa. Oh, you said solid, not sold. I guess it had. There's my other little pretties. Maybe I need to change my glasses. I thought it said sold tie-dye. Solid. Okay, gotcha. I was unwrapping these, so I was a little farther away from the screen than I normally would be. Mama Teresa, if you don't mind, I will put you in my prayers. Now, I didn't do a live at all last month because schedule. So I wanted to get this one in done today. I haven't done a tutorial in a few weeks. I'm going to try and get that done next weekend. I have bifocals. Problem is that I'm up close when I'm looking at my phone, but my chat is on the computer and sometimes I forget to look down because it's farther away. What Matt needs is somebody to teach him how to pay attention. That's what Matt needs. I don't think it's not that he can't read the chat. I think that he just doesn't bother to read it. But anyway, no bashing. Nice friendlies. If my grandchildren happen to be watching now or in the future, hi grandkids, love you all. Well, this took either talking a lot faster than I thought I would be, or there wasn't as much information as I thought there would be. I don't know, but I'm done with how I run my business. And then now all I do, like I said, today I spent a couple of hours putting together making sure that all of my displays were full and organized. Yeah, that's true too. Anybody adds a word to a number, he skips that too. That's nice, Sharon. Yes, I like all the stones. I don't know. Some of those things he's calling the Mars stones or whatever he's been selling lately, Matt. I'm not too fond of those. But there's usually not ones that I say I don't like because I pretty much like them all. I like some more than others. But there's none that I actively dislike, as far as I know. Well, that would work. I refuse to put TikTok on my phone, but it's like I refuse to put Temu on my phone too. But I don't remember who told me. But somebody mentioned that Michaels is talking about opening up a verified handmade shop like Etsy. And everything that I can find out is that they have it in beta testing right now. Well, Sharon, unless they were for sale. Like I said, I like stones, and I think some are pretty. I really like the opalite, even though I know it's man-made. I do love amethyst, but I don't know if I love amethyst because of its beauty or because it's my biggest seller. I could be influenced. Diane, Etsy, what I was looking at, yeah, they're a little pricey as far as their fees, and I guess there's some hidden fees, and I don't like some of their business practices. It looked to me like if you actually had a shop that was selling $10,000 worth, you were forced to pay for ads, whether you wanted them or not, off-site ads. I also didn't like the fact that they said that the more you sold, the higher ranking your shop went, which I think that is counterintuitive. seems to me like if you were working for the business, you'd be trying to push some of the businesses that aren't selling, maybe. Cool, Trish. I will definitely be interested in that, because what I liked, another thing about Etsy, is Etsy has gone away from uh, handmade. Like I said, Trish, I don't have an active dislike of any stone. But yeah, like I said, I do like amethyst because I do think it's pretty. And, but also it's my biggest seller, so that might be the reason that I like it as much as I do. I'm not saying I'm not biased, but I'm interested in the Michaels thing because in their ad they said they would do verified handcrafted, handmade businesses. So they're going to actually make sure that you're a handmade business or you won't be doing business on their platform. That's interesting. Back to Earth Creation left Etsy. A lot of people are left Etsy. I was looking at starting one. That's the only reason I know what I'm saying about Etsy is because I watched hundreds of videos, hundreds of hours of, well, not hundreds of hours probably. I watched a bunch of hours. That's like this craft show. When I decided I was going to do craft shows, there are videos on YouTube about everything, including what you should do and how you should do a craft show. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he had a 3-hour symposium, I guess, that he did, that people actually paid to come in and have him teach them how to set up a booth, how to run a booth, and tips and things like that. And it was like three videos, because he videotaped it, and I think there was 3 videos and they were all a little over an hour long. I got a lot of my info off of him, but I watched 100 hours or more on craft shows because I don't like going into anything unprepared. I have no idea what Pinterest came out doing. I have avoided Pinterest like the plague. But I watched somewhere, I know I watched more than 40 hours of videos on Etsy, trying to figure out how they worked, and everybody was like, oh, here's a trick you can use to get better, and here's another trick you can use, and I'm like, there shouldn't be a trick. And another thing they said is that Etsy rewarded people by having activity by themselves doing things on their site. They wanted activity on their site. As a truck driver, I don't have that kind of time. Any of you that have joined my Instagram knows that I don't have that time. Basically, I focus on making and craft shows in the summers, spring, summer, and fall. My last show that I know of, because one might creep up and say hi, is the end of October. After that, I'll start adding things to my Facebook page and to my Instagram again. But right now, I just don't have that kind of time. It's about all I can do to keep up with the sales, especially after last week. Sold 37 items last week. It kind of didn't put me in a serious pinch because I had stuff to back up, but between that and the music festivals that my son's doing, I'm starting to feel a little pressure on making sure that I'm making stuff on a consistent basis. But I have to have the time to do that. And sometimes I don't. And sometimes it's well, thanks, Diane. Sometimes it's my son's music festivals that takes away my time because he likes to take his wife with him. They're going to Georgia sometime this month, I keep forgetting to ask my wife exactly what weekend it is, but they're going to be gone for like 5 days. But they ain't taking their kids. So guess who's got the kids? That's right, me and my wife. So that weekend, there will be no making because I'll have 6 little hands that want things to do that have nothing to do with my jewelry. Well, good luck to you, Trish. Good luck to all of you. If you're a seller, good luck to all of you. Because I don't know what kind of sellers you are. I am a super passive seller. I say hi, how you doing, how's your day going, and then I leave you alone. Well, when they get a little older, I may be doing that, but right now, the oldest one is going to turn 3 here in a few days, and his sister's a year younger than him, so she'll be turning 2, if she didn't already turn 2. I don't remember her birthday. And the littlest one is like 5 months old right now. So yeah, I don't want to give them anything that they can swallow. Because my little granddaughter, 2-year-old, she is feral. I went over to sit with him today for about 10 minutes while my son ran to the grocery store. And my granddaughter had gotten a hold of a little container of ice cream. And she was sitting there with her fingers grabbing handfuls and eating them. She didn't want a spoon. I tried to give her a spoon. She didn't want a spoon. She's my wild one. Yeah, aggressive sellers annoying me. Something most of you probably don't know. I was a recruiter in the Marine Corps. For recruiter school, to teach us sales, they sent us through the Xerox, the company Xerox, their sales program to learn sales. I can sell. I know all of the little tricks, whatever. I know the strategies to selling. And I use them against salesmen, especially car salesmen, when I go buy cars. I'm not sure I want her to outgrow it. I might want her to refine it just a little bit. But she is a serious, adventurous soul. My wife bought a motorcycle that's about the size of a small bicycle. It's one of those electric ones, but it didn't have a charger. It's got training wheels on it because it is an actual motorcycle. Once they get to learning how to drive it, you can take the training wheels off and they're actually riding a little electric motorcycle. Well, we've got it in the house right now. My son thinks he has a charger for it, but my wife went into the kitchen to make them something and she heard them laughing really hard, so she came out to see what they were into. And my 2-year-old granddaughter is standing on the seat of the motorcycle with her hands on the handlebars while my 3-year-old is pushing her across the room. And as my wife stepped into the room, the granddaughter was trying to stand up without holding on to the handlebars. That's the kind of feral that she is. And I kind of don't want that spirit to go away too much. Oh yeah, I speak to everyone too. My son asked me if I was getting anything out of these craft shows because he was selling jewelry, and he's like, I don't want to stress you out about your inventory. And I'm like, yes, I get something out. I live in a truck most of the time. When I come home, I'm tired, and I'd prefer to work on my jewelry and be left alone. This forces me to go outside and actually interact with people. And I actually like interacting with people. I like being around small groups of people. I don't like big crowds. Helmet. Well, Sharon, if he loves beading and he wants to learn wire wrapping, then you need to start letting him watch my tutorials because I've got them focused towards children at the moment. Teaching the very basics. You, a 9-year-old, should easily be able to follow along with most of what I'm doing in my tutorials. I've had that a couple of times, Trish, but most of the time we're talking about the stones. They want to know, this one lady's like, you make all these? I'm like, yeah. She's like, how do you get the stones so shiny? I'm like, well, I didn't make the stones. I just turned them into jewelry. Well, how'd you make these little enamel butterflies? I didn't make the butterflies. I just turned them into earrings. I'm like, I'm not like creating these things from dust. I buy them and then I wrap them. The wrapping part is the part that I do. Oh, and I was telling you about a little girl. I got distracted. You guys distract me with the chat sometimes. I forget that I'm actually the host of the show. Excuse me. Been watching Matt too much. I'm used to interacting with the chat without having to worry about what's going on in the show. Anyway, last week there was an 11-year-old girl that came in and her mom's like, she's kind of got fat fingers, and I hate that. I hear that a lot. Women come in, you got any bigger rings? I've got fat fingers. You don't have fat fingers, you just have big fingers. Wow, that's sad, Zelina. But anyway, this girl was 11 or 12 years old, and her mom, I was making free rings, and like I said, I will show at some point, I will show you guys what kind of free rings I make for kids. But I do make free rings for kids to kind of bring, I love seeing the little kids smile, and I've had a couple of little girls say, oh, I love it so much, I love it so much. I had one say, I'll never take it off. So I get a kick out of that. But it's mostly to get the parents to come over and look at what I'm doing. But this mom was looking at rings, and then she mentioned her daughter had fat fingers. And they're like, can you make her one of your free rings? And I'm like, no. I said, I don't. My wire that I have cut for rings won't fit her finger. I'm like, we'll take care of that. And I actually had her pick out a bead. She wanted a pink bead, and she picked out a bead. She picked out all the kids are calling the copper wire pink for some reason. I don't know, but she said she wanted a pink bead with the pink wire because she was looking at the rings I had on my display. And I have my making stuff. I have my to-go bags with me. So I pulled out and we picked out a what's the other one? Rhodochrosite is stuck in my head, but it wasn't rhodochrosite, it was the other one. But anyway, we picked out a bead, I cut the wire, I made her a ring after we sized her finger, and actually made her one of my regular rings that I charged 10 to 12 bucks for, 15. And I gave it to her. Her mom was like, oh, that's so nice, that's so nice. I'm like, I don't like the fat finger comment. I didn't tell the mom that, but I didn't like the fat finger comment, so I made her a free ring that was, it cost me 50 cents, 75 cents. And I had several people watching me make it, so that's a plus. So, sometimes I give stuff away. Not very often. And sometimes I give discounts. Not very often. I think I'm averaging maybe out of all of my craft shows, I might have given a discount on one piece of jewelry at each craft show. So I don't do a lot of discounts, but I'm not unwilling to if the occasion calls for it. Well, and it's not just fat shaming, it's all kinds of shaming. Well, Sharon, get him some arrowheads. Let him wrap a couple of arrowheads and wrap a couple of pretty little pieces of amethyst. Turn them into nice little pendants. And he can give a couple of his friends an arrowhead pendant, and he can give a couple of girls that he likes some little amethyst pendants, and then watch the bullies get mad. Yeah, going to a Renaissance fair or handcrafted in the U.S. probably isn't going to work out. Yeah, Trish, that's because we're nice people. There's some cutthroat people out there too. I've seen a few of those. Luckily, none of them have been my neighbors. I've been lucky. I've either had neighbors that were just ignored me or were really, really friendly. I've never had any that were antagonistic. Hopefully that trend remains. I've had nobody that's been unfriendly to me, but I've seen some and heard some people complaining. That's another thing at the craft shows that I don't like. We had a craft show that was really slow. I mean, really slow. Like, we had 18 vendors, and the host made 20 gift bags to hand out to the first 20 customers. And when the day was over, we had 2 of those welcome bags left. So we're talking a really slow day. If it wasn't for the other vendors, I would not have made a profit that day. But since we were empty all the time, the vendors were walking around and chit-chatting with each other, and everybody seemed to be having not nice things to say about customers. And so that's a tip that I'll give for you. Don't get involved in the customer bashing or other vendor bashing. That you can hear at some craft shows. Look at this cute little arrowhead. And I just bought him yesterday at a thrift store. Zelina's already seen a picture of it. It came on a string of plastic beads. They were peach colored. I'll use the plastic beads to make bracelets and maybe some rings, but I figured I could make way more than the $4.50 I spent for the bracelet, or on the necklace on this bad boy right here, because it appears to be an agate of some sort. I'll do some pretty wrapping. It's gold foil. Ooh, it is just foil. Okay, you guys, I don't know anything about gold foil. How hard is it to take off? Is it glued on or is it just pressed on? I'll leave it on there and wrap over it. Or I can take it off. It's easy to take off and it won't be ugly under it. If it's glued on, it'll be ugly under it, so I'll just leave it on there and wrap over it. Okay, bezel foil. I said it was some kind of foil. Now is it glued on or stuck on, or is it just pressed on? Zelina. This is the string of beads it was on. A whole bunch of beads. They're pretty, but I'm pretty sure they're just plastic. That's the noise they make when you rub together, and that doesn't sound like stone. And they aren't heavy enough to be glass. They're fairly light, so I'm pretty sure they're plastic. But that's okay. Like I said, They're a fairly pretty color. So I'll make a couple of bracelets and some rings out of that. They're 10 millimeter. I haven't ever tried to make a ring out of 10 millimeter, I don't think, but we'll sure try it and see what happens. That is a very unusual piece. Okay, well, I don't know if I want to take it off or leave it on there. Probably be easier just to leave it on there and wrap right over top of it. Yeah, I'd have to find something to go with them. I don't know if I'd want to stack 3 or 4 of these. Of course, it amazes me at the earrings I see women wearing. It's like, wow. I would not have thought anybody would wear an earring quite that big. And at the same thrift store, I bought these. So I hit my thrift stores every now and then. And yeah, I paid a whole $4.49. So I paid less than $1. 1, 2, there's 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 pieces, and those are stone. That's Imperial Jasper, and the beads are the Imperial Jasper beads too. So that, I made a killing on that one. I paid $4.49 for the arrowheaded beads and $4.49 for these Imperial Jaspers. That's what they charge for necklaces at the thrift store that I go to. It's a thrift store that I go. There's a Goodwill and down the road. Yep, Imperial Jasper, according to Matt. Well, according to the internet too. No, he's not standing there. But the thrift store I bought all of this at is called Lily Pads, and they support the local homeless shelter. And their necklaces are $4.49, and their bracelets, I think, are $3.49. But sometimes they have a half-off sale on bracelets when they have too many. Goodwill, on the other hand, used to charge $3.49 for their necklaces and $2.49 for their bracelets, but the last time I was in Goodwill, they've jacked their price up to $6.39 for a necklace. And I did find a nice Halloween one I made some money off of, but I usually don't find much at Goodwill. It's weird because some of the Goodwills I've gone to, a few of them have jewelry, but most do not. I took a trip to see family in Indiana, and I stopped at every Goodwill that was within a mile or two of the interstate, and most of them did not have jewelry. And then I took a trip to my best friend's house in northern Indiana and stopped along the way there too, and most of them did not have jewelry. So I guess the fact that my Goodwill has jewelry at all is a plus for me, because every now and then I do find something in there. But then they get these vases and stuff that they fill up with junk jewelry, and then they'll put a price tag of $30 on it, and I'm like, wow, that seems a little much for a bunch of either broken jewelry or plastic beads or stuff like that. So did my chat freeze? Are we all good? Everybody hit their red dot? I'm just putting this stuff away. Oh, there's tie-dye, so okay. Oh no. That is not good. So far, where did my... Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Couldn't find the bag. Oh, jumping back to my business talk. Okay, I have these sets and I number them and I get all that done. And then, I don't know if you saw it or not, I put them in a baggie and then I put a little tag in there where I write, if it's in a box, I write it on the box. I don't have a box handy, but if it's a jewelry box and then there's a sticky note on it, then I'll write the number on there so that I know when I'm grabbing my next set, I've got it, you know, separated like that in bags or boxes. I've got that out and handy because I am definitely, the next time I sit down to make, I am definitely going to turn that into a pendant. Tanja sent me this. How pretty is that? Even with the bag glaring, look at that. Agate slice, that thing is gorgeous. That's out where I can get it too because it's getting made into something quick. Oh, let's see. Oh, so you don't even get to look at what you got. Thanks, tie-dye. I fought the temptation to buy that thing the first night he had it out, but the second night I asked for it. I specifically wanted it. I couldn't get it out of my mind. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why that would be. Trish, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, some of the vendors didn't pay their fee. Guess what? They'll never be invited back to that vending again. See, I don't plan. Oh, me on the moon? Yep. Matt called that thing Sci-Fi Jasper. And it is called Sci-Fi Jasper. It's also called Porcelain Jasper. I don't really like that name. But it's also called Exotica Jasper. Now that is a selling point. Throw the word Exotica in front of there, and that'll get some people's interest. But I bought that specifically since I sold my malachite. I don't have a high-priced stone to replace it, so I needed one to replace it because I want to have some high-priced stuff for my son at the music festivals. Because them crazy people are paying exorbitant amounts of money for things. I don't know where they get the money because I don't have it, but I have my vices, and one of them appears to be stones. Okay. I try not to do anything tiny. It annoys me when I have to take my glasses off to get something close enough to see what I'm doing. My hands are too big for tiny work. My eyes are not good enough for tiny work. I know some of you, if not most of you, have ran your own business. Have I missed anything? You got any questions about anything? For those of you, I got a big package from Matt in the mail yesterday. There were several stones in there that were gifts. I appreciate all of you. Zelina, I am taking my grandkids to the fair tonight, so I won't be at Matt's show, and I'm not going to bed either. My setup time is 8:30 in the morning. Thank you, Sharon. You know, Diane, I'm not a big fan of funnel cakes. I want the old-fashioned elephant ears. I like those way better than I like funnel cakes. But a couple of years ago at the carnival, because this is right here in my hometown. So I mean, all I have to do is walk 2 blocks and I'm on the fairway. Or is that what they call it, the fairway? But anyway, I'm in the middle of the carnival. I'm 2 blocks away, which is kind of annoying at night because it's describe the ears. They were basically a giant flat glazed donut. Midway, that's it. They were, I don't know, they were a good 10, 12 inches long and a good 4 or 5 inches wide, and it was basically a giant flat glazed donut. Kind of looked like an elephant ear. Absolutely delicious. But a couple years ago at this carnival, I asked for an elephant ear because they had them up there, and what they gave me was a funnel cake with a glaze over top of it. And I'm like, not an elephant ear. Harkening back to my childhood. My childhood treat is gone. Now you can buy deep fried Twinkies. I don't normally. If somebody comes to me and it's something, like they've lost a piece of chain, and the chain, I only have a gold and silver, and I only have one kind of chain, I can put it back together for them, or I can add a jump ring, things like that. I haven't had, the only person that's asked me to fix something, a lady asked me to re-round her ring, but I didn't. The one thing I don't carry with me is my rubber hammer. I have a steel or aluminum ring mandrel, so I could have hammered it back into round, but I didn't have a hammer. But I mean, I'm not against it. If I can fix it and I'm right there, I mean, I'll fix it for them just for the goodwill. Never know when they might want to buy something later. Do you do repairs? Do you take broken jewelry? Does any of you take broken jewelry and fix it and then sell it? Or wear it? Because unless she's forgotten, a friend of mine from church has moved out of the big house, moved closer to their grandkids into a smaller house, and she's downsizing, and she wanted to learn how to do jewelry repairs, and she bought a bunch of broken jewelry. And now she's wanting to get rid of all of her stuff, and she asked me if I wanted it, and I'm like, Why not? I'll take it. So sooner or later, there's supposed to be a big box to be dropped off of jewelry, and I don't know what is in there. I'll take what I can to use, and then I don't know, find somebody that wants it. Okay, well then, if I ever get a package, you might be getting a package. Because if there's stuff that I don't know what to do with, I'll be more than happy to ship it off to you, Trish. That's good, Sharon. Yeah, I could. But if I mean, like Trish says she repairs them, why not give them to Trish? I'll donate them to the Trish store. Okay, guys, so we've beaten our subject together, we've beaten our subject to death. We've had a nice chat. I enjoy chatting with all of you, but the fair is waiting. So, I don't know if the grandkids are here or not, but I know my wife is home. I heard her come in. So, I'm going to sign off, say good night. Hopefully, I will be able to pop on to Matt's show Sunday. Well, thank you for coming, Tie-Dye. And I don't have any idea. Toodles. You've been watching the Mickey Mouse Club? Isn't it horrible that I know that? Thanks, Trish. I know that I've had somebody ask me about doing a tutorial on hearts with no holes and tumbles, and I think somebody asked me about a moon. Thank you, Sharon. So I don't know if I'll do an actual tutorial on that or if we'll do a live show and we'll just... well, then this new Mickey Mouse Club is a cartoon. It's all cartoon. And a little boy that Dawn babysits for early in the mornings a couple of nights a week. Loved that show and it drove me crazy. But there's a little thing that flies around with tools to help them solve their problems, and they call him Toodle. I don't love tumbles either, Trish. They are difficult, they're a pain, they're annoying. Every now and then I'll find a really pretty one and I'll go ahead and wrap it. Somebody asked me if I could do a tutorial on wrapping tumbles, and a lot of wrapping tumbled stones is picking a stone that is wrappable. But yeah, I've got I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 sets that have tumbles in them, and I think next year I'm going to have a basket of tumbles out, and they're definitely slippery. Get your fingers a little wet, and you can hang on to them a little better. I have learned that. But they're still slippery even if they're a little wet. But I'm thinking about just throwing all the tumbles into a basket and throwing a $4 price tag on them and letting them go. They also don't seem to sell that much. I haven't sold a whole lot of tumbles. I have 4 or 5, and a lot of them I've had for a while. The one I wrapped that I showed pictures of a couple of weeks ago, I wrapped it because it was one of the few things that was in the set, and so I needed to try and make the money back off that set. Therefore, I went ahead and wrapped it. All right, everybody, good night. Thanks for the fun. I don't do, well, I do magic tricks, but not ones that anybody wants to watch. So everybody have a good night. And like I said, I'll try and stop in the match on Sunday night. I got an 8:30 setup time for my show tomorrow. It's right here in town, just at the end of the carnival. So I don't have to drive very far, so I don't have to go to bed too early tonight, but I do still need to shave and shower. I might even give myself a haircut too. So carnival, shave and shower, and then relax for a little bit, and then go to bed. Car's already packed, and I'm ready to drive well, now that the carnival's in the way, I'd only have to drive 2.5 blocks. 3, and I have to drive 3.5 blocks, but now I got to drive like 6 because I got to go around the carnival. But it'll still only take me a couple of minutes to get there. I'm hoping to do some videos at my booth tomorrow and do some shorts. I'm going to turn them into YouTube shorts. We'll see if that works or not. So good night. Have a good one. Bye-bye.